slow today. Wow. Unless we're live. It doesn't say we're live yet.
Oh yeah, meeting is now streaming live on
Oh, it
YouTube.
says that. See, it doesn't say that on mine. Okay,
Says
perfect.
it on mine.
That's the problem with streaming to YouTube. Every time it's like that. Hello, everyone.
Good
Uh,
afternoon.
it is Terry Osti, Darcy the Rock, and you are listening to oh, hold on, we don't want to hear myself twice.
Hmm.
To Agent Tech Mastery podcast that revolutionizes the real estate industry. I have had almost 3 decades in information technology, and Terry has had almost 2 decades as being an agent. And we are your guides to streamlining operations and saving time and boosting your revenue, which is very important. We're going to just talk about and discover cutting edge technology systems and apps and a mindset. Mindset. We're going to have a whole podcast one day about mindset because it changes your life. Mindset for a profitable and integrated business. If you want to know how to get there, you are in the right place. All right, Mr. T. Oh, they now know your nickname.
Oh, yeah. Who's they?
Whoever's listening. That was from my nephew, I think, started calling you that, didn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Remember. Um, all right. So this is going to be mostly Terry talking today, but we thought it was a really good idea to talk about business planning. I'll pipe in a little bit about how we've done it, but Terry, you have the
Yeah.
show.
Okay. I got a story that I want to share with everybody first and foremost because I want to kind of set the tone for this a little bit. So
Mhm.
the real estate industry is a funny industry.
Yeah.
All right. Don't get me started. But let me tell you a
Okay.
quick story. Darcy and I were out for lunch, or not lunch. We were out for dinner in Vancouver,
I'm sure I
over
know
on
this
Market Street.
story.
It was a sushi, I think it was a sushi restaurant or something like that. Anyhow, the tables were pretty close, and there were some people sitting behind us, some young people, who were talking pretty loud, so you could not hear what they were saying, right?
Yeah.
So this young lady says to her friend, she goes, I'm not sure what to do with my life. She goes, I think I might go to university or I might go get a job. Or my mom said, if I go get my real estate license, she'll pay for it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know,
that's how it starts.
I almost lost my mind because of that. Um, my perception was that she didn't really understand what she wanted to do with her life, and she treated getting her real estate license like it was just like changing your underwear, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a little frustrating to hear that because I thought, and maybe it was just my perception, maybe she was really serious about it. But I thought if she chose the real estate license avenue, she's probably going to come into the business and try it out.
Yeah.
Maybe successful, maybe not. And she
Yeah.
will more than likely, and again, this is me being very judgmental. I'm
Yeah.
going to presume that she would get her license and then try it out, and her friends and family would support her, and then things would die off, right?
Yeah.
And I perceived that she was one of these kind of people that would get into the business and not treat it like a business.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. And I also think that um, people get into the business and think they're treating it like a business,
Hmm.
or they're buying themselves a job.
That's half I bet you, well, I shouldn't say half, but I know a lot of people.
Uh,
I just spoke to a person that I know, and she
yeah.
said, Terry, can I have a chat with you? Because I'm thinking about getting my real estate license.
Yeah.
So I talked to her for a whole hour and gave her the real goods about this
Yeah.
industry works. And she goes, "Oh my God, I never even thought about that." And we talked about
No,
you're not just buying yourself a job. And if you have that mindset of buying yourself a job, don't do it. It's
that's the point. Yeah.
going to be the
Yeah.
worst job you've ever had,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
is a business. It is a business. First
Yeah.
and foremost, treat it like a business. You have
Yeah.
to have the mindset of, okay, I'm going to open up a business. I really like real estate. Or if it wasn't real estate, you have to have the mindset, okay, maybe I'm going to open up a clothing store, or you have to have this entrepreneurial mindset that I'm going to run a business.
Yeah. If you actually, now that you said like a clothing store,
Yeah.
if I opened up a clothing store, I mean, I don't know anything about that except I like to buy clothes.
Yeah.
but, you know, You can't just say, I'm just going to open up a clothing store. You have to figure out how you're going to get inventory. How
Yeah.
much is that going to cost you? What's your leasing, lighting, bills,
All that stuff, right?
staff? And I do think I agree with you that agents don't think about this. They just see that there's money to be made in the real estate industry, and there is, but 20% of the people do 80% of the work, and it's a revolving door,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
for sure.
so I don't think, and I was also just talking to someone today, and I said, you know, when you get your license, that all you're taught when you get your real estate license is how to stay out of jail, real estate jail,
Yeah,
right? Really
yeah,
high level. That's kind of what you're taught. Then
yeah.
they say, okay, here you go be an agent.
I know. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's crazy. But I
So,
mean, but every industry's like that. I remember when we talked to the dentist and I was explaining what I did, and he says, "Well, I got my degree in dentistry and I wanted to open up my own business. I didn't know." He said he wasted like a
yeah,
really lot. I don't even want to say how much money. It was so much money because he didn't know how to do anything.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So it's trial and error. And so the business plan for an agent is critical to figure out what you're doing, where you're going, finances, what you need to spend money on. So Terry, let's talk a little
yeah.
bit about
So
that.
let's go. I'm gonna kind of just take a one
That
step back here. So the business plan that you have to do every single year as an entrepreneur, as a business owner,
mhm,
you actually have to do this before you get your license. Before.
mhm.
I talked to
Yeah.
that lady and I said, before you even, because she just signed up for the course, I said, before you even start taking that course, you need to put a business plan together, guesstimate kind of roughly how much revenue you're going to generate, and figure out your costs. Because just because you get a $10,000 check for
Yeah,
your
that's not yours.
service, you are not keeping $10,000. You'd be
This
lucky.
is okay. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
Because
Uh,
I think that is a issue in this industry as a whole, is that I think everyone, there's is lots of money to be made for sure, and also not.
yeah, for sure. People go broke.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but let's just talk about that. Let's just say, and the general public doesn't understand this either, but let's just say that you sold a home and you get 10,000. I'm doing this in quotes. You can't see me if you're listening on a podcast. You get $10,000 from that. That's the commission. So explain to me how that's divvied up.
Okay, so first and foremost, you put your license at a brokerage,
Yeah.
and your brokerage has invested in you as well. They're giving you education, all kinds of other good things, right? So there's a fee for that. You got to pay a fee. So, and it varies from brokerage to brokerage because some brokerages they have a very, very low fee and they give you very, very low services.
Yeah.
Right? That's a possibility. On the other spectrum, there's high fees and you get a lot of services.
When you
So,
mean, I'm going to ask questions on the behalf of other maybe
sure.
new agents listening to this.
Okay.
When you mean services, what do you mean?
So let's say you're at a brokerage and you're paying whatever you're paying for the fees.
So what
And
are the fees? The fees are what? They
oh,
go from
they,
nothing to,
they go for like a small amount per transaction,
yeah.
whatever that is, 300 bucks, 500 bucks, whatever, somewhere,
Okay. Yeah.
uh, all the way up to, let's say, a 70-30 split, let's say.
Which
So
means what? Out of that
like,
10,000
out of that 10,000, the brokerage keeps 3,000 and you
is
get the seven.
30
Yeah.
and the agent gets 70. Okay.
The 7,000. So, but there's even brokerages that charge more because
Yeah.
what they'll do is included in this service package, they will do all your advertising for you.
Yes.
They do all these administrative tasks for you, et cetera, et
You don't
cetera.
have to do.
You don't have to do it, but it's just included in that lump sum
Yeah.
payment. So some of these splits are even larger than 70-30,
Yeah.
right?
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
I get $7,000.
yeah,
Awesome.
but out of that seven, you're paying for your car.
Yeah.
The insurance, for your car, plus your extra E&O insurance. There's
Errors and emissions. Yeah.
emissions. You've got your fuel, your maintenance, your office fees. Like I rented an office, a separate office in my office.
Yep.
That's 300 bucks, whatever it is a month. All your computer hardware, your computer software, you've got signage, you've got marketing.
CRM, photos.
Yeah, it goes on and on. And out of that $7,000, you're paying, like when I list a property, there are 9 people involved in listing that property between the
Yeah,
administrative staff, the social media staff, the photographer, et cetera, et cetera. There's conveyancing people. There's 9 people. Like
yeah,
clients just see me, but
yeah,
there's a big machine going on in the background that I got to pay for.
that's right. Yeah.
Out of that seven, all those expenses coming out of that 7 grand, and then you got to pay your taxes, and it's what 40%,
Oh,
right?
taxes?
Yeah, 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 right. So
We
usually,
talked about this in the other podcast, but let's talk about that again. Is that every time, I cannot stress this enough, you guys, because I cannot tell you how many agents I talk to that say they have no money to pay their taxes, to invest back. You have to invest back in your business. What in the clothing store, like that analogy, the clothing store. Okay, I only have whatever, $10,000 to buy clothes for my store. Then all the clothes go out and I spent all my money.
yeah,
That's what agents do. Many agents do.
yeah,
So now you have to reinvest in your business and yourself and obviously pay your taxes. So yeah, we we have, and I have for now almost oh God, a long time. I have always taken 30% of every single profit I make, and it
right.
goes towards an account that is for other things. So
Mhm.
I can always pay my taxes. I can always invest in my business, always, because I have that money available. So that's incredible. So
Yeah.
sorry, you
So
want?
yeah, so you set up your company, either going to be a proprietorship, sole proprietorship,
Yeah,
where any leftover money, profit from your company gets taxed at whatever rate category you fall into. The
yeah,
other one is you incorporate and you have a company, you become an employee of that company, and it's structured a little bit differently for as far
right.
as the taxes go. Talk to your accountant for advice
Yeah,
on that.
talk to your accountant, but I think, again, we're talking to agents all across the world listening to this, so it's
Yeah.
different everywhere. But I think that if I remember correctly, you don't incorporate until you hit something like $150,000 of revenue, something like that.
Yeah. So what happens is, I'll give you a better rule of thumb on that one.
Yeah.
So you incorporate when you actually have what's called retained earnings,
Yes.
leftover money.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine, I remember I probably you've heard the story a few times. We were talking about our companies and business stuff, and he goes, Terry, I remember the very first year I made a million. My revenue was $1 million gross
Mhm.
revenue.
Yeah.
He says I won every single award the brokerage had. I was the king of the castle, and on
Yeah.
he went, right? Trophies, accolades, and he goes, to tell you the truth, it actually cost me $1.1 million. He goes, I actually lost 100 grand that year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
the
you
revenue
can't
set,
always be jealous of those people as well, because you don't know what happens in the background,
yeah, for
right?
sure.
You really don't know what's happening in the background of people if it's costing more money to run your business than actually the
Right?
business itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not good.
No,
So
exactly. But our industry rewards this gross revenues crazy thing. It's just
yeah,
the thing ever. But
it is
anyhow,
a little crazy. I've never liked that when I started working with agents. I never really liked that, all the awards, and then okay, I hate saying this because you know the general public doesn't know this, but um, should I?
don't get me in
So
trouble.
no, not you.
Yeah.
No, but you can pay for awards.
Oh yeah, you can pay for awards too. There's the brokerage awards, which are based upon usually gross revenue, which doesn't really mean anything because
No,
like Buddy did $1 million and he lost 100 grand that year. So
yeah,
it's not very smart.
no,
But the other awards you can, because you'll pay a fee and they'll send you a nice trophy.
yeah, and then you can say I'm the best
Yeah.
agent in wherever. I just honestly, when I see those, I cringe because they've contacted us. I know how it works. Like, what do you mean? We pay you to get in your magazine, the or whatever it might be, some
Yeah.
magazine, and then you'll say I'm the best agent.
Yeah.
Like, it's so shady. I just hate it, but it is what it is. So let's get back to business plan. Sorry that we got that $10,000. I made seven, and then out of my pocket. Now here's where agents chimp out, right? I have to pay for photography,
Well, for sure, yeah. Like if you're
but
doing
some agents shoot it on their phone.
Yeah, so the industry allows agents to do essentially whatever they want.
I wish they didn't, but yes.
Yeah, there is no standard when it comes
No.
to marketing and stuff like that. So it's up to the consumer to really understand what they're getting. Because if
Yeah.
someone walks around with an iPhone and takes 20 pictures, posts
Yeah.
it on MLS, and that's the marketing plan, fair enough. That's
Yeah.
everybody's
You can do
opinion on
that.
it, you're good. But
Yeah.
compare that to someone who's actually going to do drone video, 3D 3D walkthrough,
Yep.
floor plans, advertise across social
Yeah.
media. We have
Exactly.
a great new software called Story. I forget what it's called now. Super expensive software. We create a storybook
Oh yeah, storybooks.
listing.
Yeah.
So compare that to somebody that's probably a $4,000 package at least, right?
Right. So out of that seven now, take
Uh,
four away.
or it's gone.
Now we
Or,
got
or
three.
or I could have just taken my iPhone and took some pictures and cost me
Right.
nothing.
Right.
But
But Terry, again, you've been around a long time
yep.
and also seen, I mean, it's actually a bit of a joke. There's lots of forums and stuff where someone will post saying, look at this agent, not saying the name, but look at this. This is the picture that they're representing the buyer or the seller. And
Mhm.
this is the picture they took. And the seller doesn't know. That's the problem. A problem is the seller doesn't know.
Yeah, and then the industry allows agents to be creative and flexible on their marketing plans. Like
Yeah.
there's no right and there's no wrong. Just the consumer has to understand actually what they're getting, what they're paying
Yeah.
for, right?
Well, okay, Terry has to say that. I don't. I'm not a real estate agent, so I can say whatever I want. I do think there is a right or wrong. Okay.
Well,
Just
there
because you
is.
have a phone doesn't mean you know how to take pictures to showcase that property to the best of the ability to get it to sell.
Yep, for
I
sure.
have seen some really horrible, I know you can't say it, but I have seen some horrible, even when I'm looking, Terry and I move a lot. And when I'm looking on the MLS, I'm like, oh my God, that's shit. That obviously they took that with their phone. But you're not helping your clients, right? A professional photographer knows what they're doing, how to get the best angle, shut the toilet lid,
Yeah, those are
move
the
stuff out of the way, do certain angles, the right sun, the right lighting, and all that other stuff to help present that property in its best light.
yeah.
So that's how I feel. Love to hear everyone's opinions, but I do think you can tell when things are professionally done. And I've spent that whatever it is, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for all this stuff. Make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I always I think some people use a business model like bronze, silver, and gold packages.
Oh
Like for
yeah, yeah. That's yep,
yeah, so
yep,
if you want the bronze package, all I'm going to do is take 10 pictures with my iPhone,
yep.
and that's going to be it. You're going to pay the bronze price.
Or even they can provide good
Yeah.
pictures, and then it's on
And then if
the
you want to spend
client.
some more money, it's silver and it's gold.
Yeah,
That's one approach to it, right?
yeah. I
But
like that one.
I come from the school of I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure this listing is spectacular,
Yeah. And
right?
you do it no matter whether it's a $13 million property or a $250,000
Oh, yeah, we
property.
spend a
It
ton of
doesn't
money
matter.
on marketing. We spend a ton of time in marketing.
Yeah. And this is what I love about you is because that it's about, it doesn't, the money doesn't matter. The money comes because he's so great, but it doesn't matter that $250,000 or $100,000 or just so anyone who's listening, if you're like, what? Our market is like a fixer upper is 1 million.
Yeah, the average house here in the Okanagan is about $1 million, roughly.
Yeah. So, we generally wouldn't even see a $250,000 or anything unless you're buying a mobile
Right.
home, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you would treat them exactly the same as that $13 million property. And so you would do the same photos, make it look good, let them know how to stage it and all that. Oh, staging too, that's
Yeah, that can be
another
well.
expense.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
some agents write that into that the other people, their clients pay for it as well.
Yep.
Right? There's so many different models, but the whole goal is to make it look as good as possible to sell that home,
Yeah. So
right?
the point of that whole exercise is to say that out of that, once the brokerage does whatever split you're on,
Yeah, yeah,
you take that money, you've got to pay for all these services that you're providing to your clients. You got
correct.
to pay for your offices, all the components of actually running that business
Yeah,
are incorporated in that as well. So out of that 10, I don't want to guess, but it's a very low number of what's
yeah,
actually left over, right?
yeah.
You
Gotcha.
have to sell a lot of real estate.
Right. And I think also the general public doesn't get that either, is that, 10 properties where you're making, let's say 5,000 to just meet in the middle, that's 50,000 a year.
To work
That's
7 days
not,
a week.
huh?
To work 7 days a week.
To work 7 days a week. Yeah, exactly. So, there's things to think about. So that business plan is extremely important to understand that for every, let's say, listing you have, how much money are you going to spend?
Yeah. For
Right?
every buyer that you take
For
out
every buyer. Yes.
for every for 6 months or 3 months or however long
The
that takes,
average.
what's the cost of providing that service to them, right?
That's right. So with buyers, sellers are easier, I think. Well, not easier, but it's expensive because you got to do all this other stuff. So for buyers, it would be gas,
A ton
time,
of time. Yep.
ton of time. What else?
Remember you talked about the value of time. Is it $25 an hour? Is it $500 an hour? There's a
What?
percent of what the
Yeah,
value of your time is, right? So
yeah,
in this industry, it's hard to measure that. Like
it is.
it is hard to measure that because this industry is crazy as well. Because we don't trade time for money. Like if you got a job and you get paid $25 an hour, you're trading
Yeah,
time for money.
yeah,
You work 8 hours, you make $200,
yeah. Good calculations.
right? So that's trading time for money. In this industry, we get paid for results.
Yeah.
Because there are times where you do have a
Outcome.
outcome. Exactly. And there
Yes.
are times where you do work with a client, things change, whether it's a buyer or seller, things change, and you don't actually have an outcome where you're actually going to get paid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to factor that into the whole formula as well, right?
So,
Because
good point on business plans about that. I think hopefully it's a low percentage that this happens, but it happens. And then you can have different business models as well. But
Mhm.
you could have a home listed and you could spend that whatever $4,000 out of pocket to
Person.
go do the drone and the video, whatever, the 3D and the all the photos and all the marketing and all the advertising that you do for that property, and be at $4,000 out of pocket. And then they can say, you know what, I'm not going to sell. Uh,
For sure.
Heart, like a dagger to the heart. And I think that it's important also to, and again, I've seen a whole bunch of different business models when I've talked to agents about this. Some actually have it written in the contract that if they back out, that they owe them back this money,
Yeah.
which is not a bad idea.
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
there's a thought process of taking retainers up front as well.
yeah, yep,
So that I think if you invested a lot of money in some of your clients' endeavors and they didn't come to fruition, that you might consider something like that because
yeah.
you can only handle so much loss in a
Oh,
year.
so heartbreaking when that happens. I know. I can't.
And it costs a lot of money, right? So
Yeah, it costs a lot of money and time and time. I got to add your time in every time you've shown a house, shown that house, let
yeah,
people in. Like, yeah, it's frustrating. So, on a business plan, um, kind of go through the steps of what would be in a like just high level on a business plan. And
well,
you can Google real estate business plans.
yeah,
Your
there are.
brokerage, lots of brokerages actually offer, well, lots that I've talked to offer business planning with the bro. You should talk to your broker owner and see. But high level, what do you see?
Yeah, so yeah, my broker did that every single year. They held a breakfast meeting.
That's
And
right.
we
Yep.
spent the day together and we put the business plan together.
Yeah.
So at the end of the to keep it really, really simple, you have like any business, you have revenues. And you
Yep.
figure out how many clients you're going to be working with and what's the projected revenue from those helping those clients buy and sell real estate,
Yeah.
whatever that number is.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Then you got to break down all your expenses. You got your brokerage fees, your splits, your car, your office, your equipment, your signage, your marketing, your uh, people have staff, like they have staff helping you, administrative staff.
EATC, CRM.
Yeah,
Don't
your
use
all your
brokerage CRM
software, and it
software.
goes, yep, it goes on and on and on. So you got to break
Yeah.
all that down,
Yeah.
and then you can look at what's left, if anything, and that's your net revenue.
Yeah. Website. Sorry, I'm thinking of other things.
Yeah.
Because I talk to agents a lot. And when I ask these questions, like, what's your monthly fees? Like for, just in general for all this, I don't know.
Mhm.
How do you not know? Like, honestly, like you should know these things. Like how much you spend every month on your website, how much is your, or yearly, whatever, how you want to do it, but it's monthly is easier. How
Yeah,
much is a CRM monthly? How much is your email software? How much is your cloud storage software? How much is your brokerage split? How much is your fee? How much is your office fee? How much is blah 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 blah, right?
yeah, yeah,
Your signing applications, signing software. There's so many little things that people think, oh, it's 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there, but in the end it's like probably $1,000 a month and you're not thinking about that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. There's so many things. Education.
Education.
In BC, we have to renew our license every 2 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money involved in educating and keeping up with that part of it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I know an agent. I know an agent. His break even cost per month, and he's a smart guy. He's got it nailed down.
Yeah.
Break even number is $40,000 per month,
Wow.
right? But he's got it dialed in. He knows exactly
Yeah.
what he's spending his money.
Yep.
But if he doesn't generate $40,000 a month minimum, he's losing money in it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you have to know your numbers. You have to know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I know with you, you talk to a lot of agents, and you really drill down into their business. And sometimes when you're talking about providing services to them to fix their business once and for all, and they go, "Well, I don't have any money." But you've been in business for 20 years. Okay,
It
right? You've
happens.
been in business for 20 years. And if you had a business plan from the very, 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 very beginning, and you
You'd have
said,
the
"Okay, I'm going
money.
to put 7.5% of my gross revenue away for education and upgrading technology and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah," you allocate that money every single year. And guess what? When they talk to you finally to get organized,
Yeah.
they have money in the bank account specifically there to improve their systems and their
Yeah.
software, right?
Makes me sad actually, because it's
I
like,
know. It's crazy.
yeah, there and this is actually for anyone listening. It's really whether let's say you've been in business for 10 years and you've lost business because you don't have a business plan, you don't have the systems in place. And I'm going to say the average is at least $100,000 of lost revenue over that 10 years. It's about average is about 10,000 a year. One or two deals a year people lose. That's $100,000 in actual lost revenue. And then we talked about the value of time, that $48,000 a year of lost productivity value of your time. Okay, so now we're at like $150,000. And then I say, okay, well, my program is this amount. And they're like, oh, I don't have the money. Yeah, you don't have the money because you need to take this program, right? Get your systems in
Thing, right?
place to
Yeah.
start communicating with your people. But that's another thing too in the business plan. So first it's like expenses, profitability and expenses. Then what else is in the business plan?
Well, that's it. You have revenues,
Yeah.
expenses.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So
That's
it's
all.
fairly simple.
It is fairly simple. But on the expense side, you got to make sure that you're allocating every single expense.
Everything. Everything. Phone, your mobile phone.
Yeah, mobile phone, $200 a month.
Like you can just Google, I could probably do it right now. Just Google business plan, free business plan spreadsheet, and you'll get a Google sheet or Excel spreadsheet to do your expenses. And
And
then
more than likely, your brokerage does it for
yeah,
you or helps
that's
you.
what that's what I think. Just go to the brokerage because I don't think I've ever talked to anyone like at the broker level that didn't have a business plan or business plan training. It's
Mhm.
so important to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're not providing that service, I'd ask them, can you please
Yes, for
lead us?
everybody,
Yeah, and usually want to do it in like November, December, like towards the end of the year, or at
for
the
the
very
next year.
latest, yeah, for the next year or the very
Oh,
late.
perfect timing because it's September now.
Yeah, you
So
should be.
right now, you guys,
Yeah,
we're doing this in September. You should be at the end of September. In the next couple months, you should be doing a business plan and
yeah,
know what you're going to do for next year. Okay.
exactly. And then when you do your business plan,
Yes.
don't treat it like a gym membership. Don't put it
Hey,
away.
that's
Go.
my line.
I know, right? You spend 4 or 5 hours putting this amazing business plan together, and then it disappears, and then you just go down your rabbit hole of bright
Yeah.
shiny objects, and your next year is just a big shit show, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we put it in our calendar to do every year. So once we're done that year, actually, I'll kind of explain what we generally do. We have to get back on it. We missed a couple during COVID, so we have to but this is what we would do. So do the business plan, let's say in November, go away for 2 days, and we literally would help each other in our business plans. And of course, that could be a write-off. So you can go away for a weekend and write that off because we're literally doing business. That's a good idea to go away. Yes, Terry?
Working from another location. Yeah, that's
Another location. And then when we were done that business plan for the next year, we'd actually put it in our calendars for the next year after that. So it's always in there and we always know what we're doing. And then,
but in between, there's accountability every month.
yes, yep.
Right.
Where are your numbers? It's not just once a year. Sorry. Once a year, you do the planning, and then you really should do it probably at least monthly.
Review what your numbers monthly. Yeah, absolutely.
What your numbers are. Yeah. I do it. I do it almost every day to look at my numbers. I know you're not quite, because I run ads. So for agents who run ads, are your ads profitable? Right? Are you getting nothing? And why? Is your lead gen profitable?
Yeah.
Yes or no? And you make decisions based on that. I've had oh gosh. I had someone I talked to who was paying $500 a month for I think it was 2 years. So what's that? Quick 12,000? Did I do that fast?
5 times that's $1,200.
12,000.
$12,000. Yeah.
Not 1,200, 12,000. So she kept paying it for this lead gen website. And I was like, so how many leads did you get? None. Okay. So you just spent $12,000 in the last 2 years before that, and you got nothing. Yeah. So then she said, well, then I went to another lead gen company that was cheaper. And this is what we see all the time in this industry. It's like something's not working, so they go cheaper and cheaper and cheaper till they're not doing anything. So then it was $1,400 a year. And I said, okay, well, so great. That's awesome. That's a better price. How many leads you got from that? None. Okay. So now you spent 13,400 and you've got zero. And not keeping in touch with past clients. This agent's been around for a while and never kept in touch with past clients. Like, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Right. But had she had a business plan, she would be tracking those numbers. How many deals did I get this month for that 500? How many deals did I get for whatever else you're doing? And I would say the 6-month mark, she could have said, well, nothing's happening here. Right. So why am I paying this amount of money?
Exactly. And then within your CRM, I know we talk about CRMs, but this is all part of understanding your business. With the CRM, you can actually track where things are happening from, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if all your cousins are giving you their business because they trust you, your CRM is going to say 95% of my business came from my cousins.
Yeah.
0 from this $500 a month lead gen thing.
Right. Well, and yeah, Terry, that's really good because that is, literally what we do. That's what I do. I look at mine. Again, I'm in a different business, but I have what I call a dashboard, and it says that I have talked to, and just like agents would talk to this many people and how many actually became clients. I literally, if you ask me right now, I pull up my dashboard and I can tell you 13% came from Facebook ads, 40% came, I was just looking at from conferences, 20% come from newsletters. Like, I can literally track my stats, and so can you on yours. And it's important to do that because I think until we started doing that, we didn't really know where your business came from, right? And then when we did, I remember looking at it going, oh my gosh, that mortgage broker has given you a lot of deals. And we knew, but we didn't know.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, yeah, yeah.
Right.
But that's with any business owner, right? It doesn't matter whether you're selling clothes or
whatever. Where are your people coming from?
Where's your business coming from? Are they walking in off the street? Or do you have a particular brand that they like? Is that they gravitating towards your brand, or where they're coming from?
Open houses, coffee shops, where did they come from? Yeah.
In your business plan, there's going to be a line item that says marketing.
Yeah.
Whatever dollars you've allocated for marketing.
Yeah.
You have to spend that money smartly.
Yes.
Like the lady was just throwing $500 out a month.
Just throwing money away. It actually made me really sad, actually. And that's one of them. I've listened to hundreds of agents tell me these similar stories, and it really does. It makes me very sad. And it's not really their fault, because when you come out of real estate school, they should force you to do business planning.
They should force you to do one before you get your license to know.
Yes, to understand how even before you take the course, they should say,
Yeah,
okay, this is how much it's going to cost, because it is not cheap to be an agent.
no.
There are a lot of
You can be a
expenses.
cheap agent, but it's not cheap to run your business properly.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. So treat
yeah.
it like a business. Got to have that business plan. Like I say, if you're just getting your license, put a business plan together. Like you, with any other business, if you went to a bank and said, "Hey, I want to start this XYZ widget business," they're gonna show me your business plan so we can actually give you the money or not.
I never thought about that analogy. That's so true.
Yeah,
And yet here we are. The agents just get into this stuff and they have no idea.
no idea, not a
Our
clue.
payment is more than they're making, like sometimes, right?
Right?
Like it's,
Yeah, car permit's a minimum of $1,000 a month.
yeah, if you're doing, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
if you have a
yeah,
used
you
car.
got to have wheels, generally speaking.
Right, I have
There's
a
some agents that don't, but,
But
but
every single day when you get into that car, it has to start.
yeah,
It has to start. You
yeah,
cannot
exactly.
have a dud of a car.
Well, that was enlightening today, you guys. Hopefully, you're enjoying our podcast. I believe that we have the Terry and I, because we have been very consistent. We've been doing these every couple weeks. I think we'll continue doing them every couple weeks. It seems pretty easy.
We
We
got
just
lots
kind
to
of have
talk
a
about.
general, pardon me, Terry?
We have lots to talk about.
We do have lots to talk about. And so thank you for sticking with us. Again, you can always ask us questions. My name is Darci from Agent Tech Mastery. And if you're stuck and piecemealed your business together, let's get to where you want to go and we can help you do that. So you can always go to agenttechmastery.com/apply pod. And you can also reach out to us and, you know, Terry, I know you're open to talking to agents about business plans and what they need to do. He's happy to talk to. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. But again, it's absolutely free to have a conversation with me to review how your current systems are set up. And again, that's Agent Tech Mastery, TECH, techmastery.com/apply pod. And we love to hear your comments. Reach out, watch, listen. You can find this on all of your favorite podcast apps. Just search for Agent Tech Mastery. Thanks for your time, Terry.
That was awesome.
Okay, talk to
Okay.
you later.